Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Shelf Life Extension. My name is Alexis and today I'm going to be doing a July monthly reading wrap-up. This is actually pretty exciting considering I haven't done a monthly reading wrap-up in a while. At least a few months. It's been quite a bit. But I actually did read a lot in the month of July, which is pretty exciting considering I average on maybe 1 or 2, possibly 3 books a month. And so this month I actually have 5, technically 6 books to talk to you about. So, pretty excited, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. So the first 2 books I'm gonna talk to you about are A Court of Thorns and Roses, as well as A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. Okay, so this series has been out for quite a while. The 3rd book finally came out on hardcover a few months ago, a month ago. It's been quite a while, I think. Otherwise, like, I knew it was kind of like a Beauty and the Beast kind of sort of retelling. I think that's what they were promoting it as at the very beginning. And it kind of was, you know? And so like with that, it did get me interested in kind of what the story was, what was going on. And for the longest time, I've kind of been not interested in a lot of YA fantasy lately. So it just took me a long time to try and get into this story, or at least to be like wanting to pick it up. But my friend Morgan got herself a hardcover copy after she got herself a paperback, so she gave me the paperback and I was like, you know what, I think I'm kind of in the mood for some sort of paranormal romance kind of thing. And of course with teen fiction, it does generally tend to go by quickly. They're generally easier to read, so I was like, for sure, let's do it. I absolutely loved this first one. I don't know, I just drank it up. It was just so much fun to read, and it definitely does play in the whole Beauty and the Beast concept, although I say that's just the very beginning. The rest of it, you expect this to be like a legitimate Beauty and the Beast retelling. It's not. They just kind of play on that at the very beginning. Otherwise, I love the characters, I love the story, I love how the magic works, how the worlds work, and it's very interesting. It's not like super deep or anything, but it's a lot of fun. I will say though that with both of these books, I was surprised that they are considered teen, and I've been told or corrected by a couple people that they're not necessarily teen, they are actually new adults. So that gets outside of just like the teen category. And the main character, she's 19. So really, it's not a teen story, and it does get pretty explicit, which I found really surprising. But the fact of the matter is that you find these books in the teen section, and I'm here to tell you, being that I worked at Barnes & Noble, it is not the bookstores that are putting them in teen. The publishers tell us where they go. So even though the publishers are saying, oh, it's new adult, they're telling the bookstores, particularly Barnes & Noble, that these need to be shelved in teen, so that's where they go. And I'm just gonna touch on this really quickly. The reason why that kind of bothers me so much is that as a bookseller, I got asked so many times by mothers to like recommend books that didn't have sex in it, that didn't get explicit, that maybe beat around the bush, like maybe it implied it, but didn't get graphic. And this is a prime example of how that makes it really hard to try and find a good series that isn't explicit for teen readers who are like maybe just getting into teen fantasy and fiction. And there was a thread going on for a while in an article being like how teen isn't necessarily for teen anymore, and this is a prime example of why I definitely agree with that statement. Otherwise, I loved these books. I really enjoyed it. I definitely want to grab that 3rd book, but seeing as I have the paperbacks in both of these, I'm not going to go ahead and buy the hardcover of it. I was thinking of getting it off of Book Depository, but I really want to match the covers because the American covers do have a little bit more detail on them, and they're just like a little bit more pleasing to the eye. Otherwise, the story follows a girl named Feyre who is... It's kind of like a Hunger Games scenario. She's the one providing for her 2 older sisters and father, and by doing that she has to hunt in the forest, which is technically illegal. But she's out in the forest one day, she's trying to find something to bring back home, and she kills a wolf. And wolves are kind of sacred. Wolves are technically considered one of the Fae, and because of that, this beast creature comes and finds her and pretty much demands her life in servitude, kind of to him to make up for the deed. And that's where it gets set off. Otherwise, I think Feyre's great. I thought that she had some decent sass though, although I think that she could have done things a little bit smarter. But otherwise, I think the story's great. I think that I will definitely be getting that other book, just probably not anytime soon just yet, unless I get a real craving for it. Otherwise, I really enjoyed these two. And look how thick they are. I can't believe I made through both of these in the month of July. And after those two, I went ahead and started in on the Others series by Anne Bishop. I got the first one and the second one, which is Written in Red, followed by Murder of Crows. I have been wanting to grab the third and fourth books. The fifth book, I think it's the fifth book. Yeah, the fifth book just came out and is on hardcover. So I'm trying to like pace myself for a little bit. Otherwise, my local Barnes & Noble, the one that I've been going to, didn't have the third one in stock, so I just got the first two. Otherwise, it's one of those pretty generic urban fantasy stories revolving around, you know, obviously the supernatural and paranormal do exist in our current world and they are accepted, although they are ostracized. But what's really cool about this series is that they are called the Others, but they are the ones who were here first. They pretty much dominate the world, and it's humans that came later, and it's humans, of course, that have been destroying everything, and the others have to deal with them and find ways to like not just destroy them, because obviously they are a food source for some of the others. So obviously the others include vampires, werewolves, any were thing, elementals, a whole bunch. There's a huge, obviously, grouping, and yeah, there's just a crap ton of them, and there's a whole bunch of different versions of them. But otherwise, what's really cool about this series is it follows a woman named Meg Corbin, who is a blood prophet, which means that the moment she is cut, and depending on how deep the cut is, where the cut is on her body, she can give a prophecy. So, unfortunately though, that the cutting, it is an addiction. Like, they have to cut. They can feel a prophecy coming on, and it has to be done. So, in today's age, all these blood prophets have pretty much been taken away from their families or stolen and put into compounds where they're safe, they're taken care of, they can keep track of them and how they're cutting. But due to that, they are then sold for their prophecies, that people can pay big money to get a prophecy out of a girl. So Meg Corbin pretty much escapes from her compound and ends up in this area called the Courtyard, which is kind of like a go-between between the others and the human world. It's a little courtyard, little area where some of the others live and work, and humans are allowed to come and mingle. And it's pretty much just like a go-between. It's a way for them to get supplies from the human world and bring it back to the others, and it's a way for the human world to kind of get in contact with the others and learn more about them and such. Meg finds herself in this courtyard and pretty much tries to get a job, and she starts a job as the human liaison. She pretty much like handles the mail and gets in contact with everybody in the courtyard, and she kind of becomes one of them. And when people find out what she is, because obviously you can't keep that a secret for very long, they try to protect her when people start to come after her, because the people who she ran away from want her back. So it just kind of follows her and her adventures. It's a lot of fun. I really like the world. I really like the way that everything is set up. I like the courtyard. I like the dynamic between the others and the humans, that it's like, it is legit, the others are in control and humans need to just cut it out. The one thing I don't like about this series is that they play on the naivety of the characters a lot, which isn't a bad thing, but it's also kind of like, it doesn't help push the story forward, and I feel like it slows it down and it prevents things from getting resolved in a more satisfying way. Otherwise, I'm definitely interested in continuing with the story. I just haven't gotten myself around to a Barnes & Noble yet to go grab the next one, and I really, really like this. So if you haven't read this series yet, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun, and I am super interested to find out what happens. Then after those, hey, I went ahead and read On the Other Side by Carrie Hope Fletcher. I loved this book. Like, I didn't have much to expect from it considering it's her first book, but I thought she did a fantastic job. So I ordered this off of Book Depository for like $5, and it was so good. It's so cute. It follows a girl named Evie Snow. She's 82. She finally dies at the end of her life, but she's brought back into the limbo area where she is again 27 years old, and she has to, you know, pretty much take care of business before she can pass on. But in order to take care of that business, that lingering business that she has in the world, it revolves around her past love, her one true love, and kind of resolving herself to the fact that, you know, she didn't get her chance and she has to tell people about this relationship that she had and how it dictated the rest of her life. I thought that the writing was great. I thought the pacing was done well. I really love the characters. I love the setting. I just love pretty much everything about this book. If you haven't read this book, I highly recommend it. I think she did a fantastic job. It was super easy to get through. It just flowed really well. You really felt for the characters and the dynamics were a lot of fun. And I just applaud her because I think she did such a good job considering it was her first book. And I'm so happy that I picked it up. And then following that, I went ahead and read her little novella, Winter's Snow, which obviously it's a little tiny little novella following the ending of the first book and gives you the perspective of her one true love, right? Hey, and his side of what happened as well. So they just go together really, really well. It was just such a good story. It's a lot of fun. It's super cute. So I highly, highly recommend this. Otherwise, that's it. So, but like, I mean, that's, you guys, I read 5 like books this month, and that is insane. But I really credit it to the fact that I've had a lot of days off, luckily in between classes or where I've done all my homework and I had a free day, and I've been able to literally just sit down, not have to worry about anything. I don't have a job, I don't have to worry about work, and actually just sit down and like take time for myself and read. It's been lovely, just super lovely. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. If you have any questions or comments about the books that I mentioned, you want to, you know, give your 2 cents, or you have any questions about them, please just go ahead and leave them in the comment section below, and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, again, thank you for watching, and I'll check you guys out later. Bye!